Bicep. Known for their unique blend of UK garage, house, techno and experimental sounds, Bicep has captivated audiences worldwide with their emotive and unique tracks. I'm Yanick from the Produce School, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create music that carries that signature Bicep sound.
Breathe you
I'll break down all the key elements of a Bicep style track, such as the drums, bass, synths, vocals and more. By the end of this video you will have a solid foundation for creating music in the style of Bicep, but it will also push your own creative boundaries with techniques you might haven't used before. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and with that being said, let's get straight into this. All the sounds that I'm using in this video, such as the drums, vocals, presets and more, are from our pack Omnia. If you want to check out and support Omnia, then make sure to go to the link in the description or click the link over here. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is to set the tempo to 130 BPM, because it's in the tempo range that Bicep uses in their tracks. Let's lay down some drums first. I'm going to start with a kick, which is a really deep and solid kick from our pack Omnia. It sounds like this. Really punchy, and it's also not too long in terms of length, so there's a lot of space for the bass as well. And let's drag in this top loop from our Omnia pack as well, which is this typical UK garage style loop. And let's place the kick properly. I'm not going to use a 4/4 pattern, which is something you hear in most house and techno tracks. I mean, you could use this, but I want to go for a different vibe. So I'm not going to use the 4/4, but switch it up a little. Let's place this kick over here. And then again, I think that should work. Let's add a little bit of distortion on the kick with a decapitator. Just a little bit of drive. And let's decrease the wet level. Let's add some ambient sounds for a kind of atmosphere. Just this kind of vinyl recording. Put down the volume, just in the background. And let's also add this atmosphere, which is a kind of drone sound, just stays on one note. And let's add a stutter effect on this atmosphere with a gross beat. There's this nice preset called Trance Gate 1. Put up the volume. We get that stuttery effect, which Bicep also likes to use. Just in the background of the track. And let's also add a kickstart for some sidechaining to the kick. Let's set it to audio, and let's select the input of the sidechain to 1 and enable it. And now in this way, this ambience is sidechained to the kick. So every time the kick hits, the audio of this ambience atmosphere sound ducks. Let's add a bassline, and for the bassline I'm going to use a serum preset called Liquid, which is also from our Omnia pack, and is this really fat analog sounding Reese bass. The Reese bass is used in a lot of Bicep tracks, and this one sounds really fat like this. You can open it up as well. Let's create a pattern for that. Drag it like this. And let's start with an A sharp. on to the D sharp, then F sharp, then F. This should work. And let's add a little bit of distortion to make it even more fat. I'm using this plugin from FL Studio called Destructor, and it has a bunch of different things you can use, like distortion, a filter, chorus, or a speaker effect. And I have this preset called Subtle Distortion, which is just a little bit of wet level of the distortion. Makes it a little bit more fat. Let's lower down the volume as well. And now let's also add a kickstart to this bass, so we can sidechain it to the kick. Let's also select audio, then go to processing and select the sidechain input. Now that the foundation of this track is ready, I want to add a vocal, and I'm using a vocal from our pack Omnia, which is in the right key as well. I'm just gonna use the chorus part, which should be over here. Let's time it properly with the metronome. Breathe you in. Breathe you in. That should work. One of the main things that makes the Bicep signature sound is the use of a gate or transgate effect, which creates this stuttery vocal or synth sound. And I'm going to apply a stutter effect on the vocal as well to get the really typical Bicep sound. To do this, I'm adding this FL Studio plugin called Growthbeat over here. And I'm selecting this Transgate 1 preset, which creates this stuttery effect on a vocal. Let's increase the attack a little bit. Breathe you in. Breathe you in. Breathe you in. Now after the stutter effect, I'm going to apply a reverb to make it a little bit bigger and smoother in the mix as well. Breathe you in. Breathe you in. And finally, let's add a kickstart for sidechaining again. Something like this. Breathe you in. Breathe you in. Breathe you in. Breathe you in. And then in the second part of the drop, I want to use a part of the verse, I think. Let's turn off the growth beat. You're taking over my body. This part is really nice. So let's cut it right there and put it here. You're taking over my body. You're taking over my mind. Nothing that I do will stop it. You're taking over. Let's create an automation for the wet level of the growth beat. So it is on in the first part of the drop, like this, and then it's turned off in the second part of the drop. You're taking over my body. I need to pull you out of sight. I need to pull you out of sight.
You're taking over my body. You're taking, I need to pull you out of sight. You're taking over my body. You're taking over my mind.
In the second part of the drop, I also want to introduce a synth sound with some chords. And for that, I'm taking inspiration from Bicep's track Opal, which has this really cool and unique synth sound. I'm using Serum to recreate that sound, and I will be using one oscillator with a saw wavetable with one unison, and then oscillator B is also a saw wave but with a unison of 8, so you have a little more stereo information and a wider sound. Let's shape the sound with envelope 1, lower down the sustain all the way and set the decay to around 270 milliseconds, something like this. And let's also increase the attack a little bit. Let's also enable the filter and set it to MG-Low 18. Let's increase the drive. And now I'm going to use envelope 1 to modulate the filter cutoff. So let's drag that on top of there. Set it to one direction with Shift Alt. And then it sounds like this. We have to also enable oscillator B to go through the filter. To make this synth more interesting and create interesting patterns, I'm going to use the mod wheel to modulate the filter cutoff. And in this way, I can control the filter cutoff with the mod wheel. And I'm also going to drag the mod wheel modulation on top of the decay of envelope 1. And in this way, when I open up the mod wheel, the decay will become longer and the filter will open up, which can give you this effect. Let's also increase the release a little bit. I came up with this chord progression for the synth sound. And you can modulate the cutoff now with the mod wheel. And that really gives that effect that Bicep used in Opal. Let's put it in a mixer channel, add some effects like EQ to remove the low frequencies because I don't want them to be there. And let's add some reverb to give it some more room. And finally, let's add a kickstart so it's sidechained to the kick. Right here. Let's put it into the playlist as well, so you have a better idea of how it will sound. Now let's create an automation for the mod wheel of the synth, so we can create some interesting patterns. Just drag up or down the mod wheel and then go to Tools, Less Tweaked, and then hit Create Automation Clip. So we have an automation clip of the mod wheel. And let's just create a pattern that I like. Something like this. Let's just copy this a bunch of times. Make this go higher. Something like that. Now let's add some final touches to the track. I'm gonna add some more drum loops in the second part of the drop, like this percussion sound. And this percussion loop as well. And let's add this cymbal ride. Maybe every, something like this. Helps with the energy of the track. Drag down the volume. And finally, let's add some simple effects like this white noise downlifter to add some energy.
Breathe you in.
And maybe this uplifter for the transition here. And that's everything for this bicep style drop. Here it is one more time. This is the final result.
Breathe you
I hope you enjoyed watching me create a track in a style similar to Bicep. If you have any questions or suggestions for this video, then please drop it in the comments. And for now, I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.